So we're in our Pilates V, or a little slice of pizza, I like to call it, not a big slice, so toes aren't too wide apart. And then you almost want to think about pushing your two heel bones, squeezing them in together and activating all the muscles around the leg. So I like to visualize, you know the signs outside a barbershop and that, like the swirls, the red and white swirls? That's what I want you to try and visualize with your leg muscles for a moment. So you're kind of wrapping from the inside of the thigh, rolling the muscles outside and wrapping them all the way down so that you can actually feel the crease of the butt is squeezing. If you put your hands on your bottom, there should be quite a bit of activation on the crease there. If you push the heels into each other, the inside thigh muscles are pretty tight. And then also deep hip muscles right inside the hip socket as you kind of spiral your kneecaps out the way. You should feel a bit of activation in there. So we want to have really nice strong legs. And then one thing that Pilates promises you is a nice flexible spine as well as strong core muscles. So we're just going to think about the flexibility through the lower back in a second. But first of all, I want you to stand tall. So those legs are on. I want you to think about pushing the floor away with the soles of the feet and lifting the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Now this is a feeling, but I almost want you to think about the floating ribs, the bottom few ribs. There's someone waiting to get in. Hang on 2 seconds. The bottom ribs are trying to lift up off your pelvis. So immediately, if I stand side on, if you tend to be really tight in the lower back and short through here, if you can lift the rib cage up off the pelvis, you're giving yourself traction and space between your vertebrae. We're going to put one hand on the lower back. I've got my palm facing out. I want you to think about the shape through the curve right there. So if you have what we call like an increased lordosis, which is a bit of a sag, and I tend to do this sometimes, I kind of hang, I call it dumping into my lower back, kind of just crunching into there. I want you to use your hands and the lift through the spine, the pressure down through the legs to create more space, and make your hand actually like spread the fingers so that the lower back feels like it's lengthening. Now that actually takes a bit of work through your core muscles. So I want you to think about the connection between the length in the lower back and the scoop through the stomach. Put your hand on your belly, and we're going to take a couple of breaths here. Breathing in for the count of 6. And then as you breathe out for your 6, feel your belly draw away from your hand and try to open your lower back a little bit further. This will make sense in a moment when we start to move. So we're just going to do that a few times. Breathe in for 6. And then breathe out deep in the tummy. How far in can you pull your belly away from your hand, activating the deep transversus abdominis? We're going to do that one more time. And then we're going to start to roll down. So this time on the next breath up, just leave one hand on your lower back. Actually, leave one hand on your belly too. You're going to breathe in to prepare. You breathe out to activate your abdominals. The legs are strong. You kind of tuck the chin down, and we're going to roll down so the crown of the head is going towards the floor, but we're only going to go a little way. And I want you to think about what's happening to your lower back as you fall down. Your lower back should be opening up and expanding and lengthening. Just a little roll down, and then we breathe in to hold at the bottom. You're going to breathe out, wring out the lungs, so squeeze out the air as you come back up to standing, and watch you don't dump into that lower back. So lifting the rib cage up off the pelvis. This doesn't look like a lot of work, but it's actually quite tricky. And again, we'll do that 2 more times. Legs are on, I can feel the deep hip muscles. Inhale. Exhale, pull the stomach in really flat. Chin moves down towards the chest a little bit. Open the lower back. So this is not so much about the head just dumping down. This is about lengthening through that spine. Hold at the bottom, breathe in, squeeze your inside thighs. Breathe out, pull the stomach in, come back up. Now we're going to do that a couple times with the arms down by your side. So you're going to do that by yourself. Take your breath in. Breathe out, feel the stomach flat. Squeeze the legs tight. Lengthen the lower back. This time you can go a little bit lower. So it's the crown of the head going down, but I want the stomach pulling in and up, and feel the stretch and the length in that spine. Don't splat your stomach, strong legs. You breathe in to stay. You breathe out, and I can feel my legs working really hard. Wrap and spiral to bring yourself back up. Lift tall, lift the ribs up off the pelvis. 2 to go. Inhale, we've got our feet in a little V. Sorry, I can't see who joined us late. Squeeze the heels together, I'll face you. And breathe out. Crush the inside thighs, scoop the stomach. The lower back is getting longer and longer and longer. The abs are getting deeper. Breathe in. Breathe out. Roll it back up. Wring out the air out of the lungs. Last one, and we'll stay down at the bottom. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out. Here we go. So this time we're going to hang here. We'll quickly flip side on. Keeping the lift through the stomach, I want you to keep folding and keep folding. Don't dump into that back. Scoop the stomach. Squeeze the legs. Lift the belly up, 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 up. And then I just want you to hang at the bottom. So you can let the belly go, and I just want you to stretch the hamstrings for a moment. Stay here. You might be able to touch the floor. You might not be able to. That's okay. Just go to where you can. If you can touch the floor, can you grab the backs of the ankles and gently pull your nose? Imagine it's going to touch your knees. Breathe here. Just for a moment. Let that head go. Let that neck feel heavy. Let the arms go. So release the arms back down. You're going to pick up the stomach. Now squeeze the bottom tight. Roll back up really slowly, but think about what the lower back's doing. It's lengthening. It's tucking the tail. The spine comes up, bringing the head, the very last thing to restack. We're going to go to parallel. So you're going to stack your arms one on top of each other. Come to the front of your mat. You're going to cross one foot over the top of the other. So I'm standing with my right ankle across my left, like this. We're going to keep our back as straight as possible. Scoop, feel the lift up through your center. Slowly bend your knees, but I want you to imagine the crown of the head's trying to stay lifted to the ceiling. Slowly lower yourself all the way down. Don't stick out your bottom. With control. Now you can place yourself onto your back. Good job. Let's not use the cushion actually for a moment. See if you can find your start position without having to squeeze the cushion between the thighs. So we're going to just kind of really clear up about where's our start position. Hope you can all see me here. So I want you to put the heel of your hand onto your hip bones. Your fingertips are on your pubic bone. So there's the 3 bony landmarks of our pelvis. Have a little look. Lift your head for me for a second. Those 3 bones should be level. So I want you to check if I put a little plate of peas with a little bunch of peas in the middle of the plate, on top of your 3 bones, the peas would sit in the middle. They don't roll to either side, so you don't have your pubic bone higher, or you don't have one hip hiking. They're absolutely level. And then once you're there, once you feel like you've got that, you might need to rock around, kind of tipping backwards and forwards a little bit till you find that middle point. Think about where your lower back is. If you're in the right place with your pelvis, you should have enough space just to fit your hand under your lower back, just a little gap. If there is too much gap, you're going to try to minimize that space just by pulling the tummy in. So we're going to hang here for a minute. Let's keep our hands onto our pelvic bones. Let your shoulders fall back for me. I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to go a couple more breaths, still counting to 6. Take your breath in. But this time as you breathe out, we're going to go into a little what we call an imprint. So now I want you to roll the peas towards your belly button, tip your pelvis, close the gap between your lower back and the mat, and the pubic bone should come up slightly. And then as you're doing that, I want you to think about, again, that relationship between your tummy and your lower back, and then come back to the start position. This is a super small, subtle movement. As you get better at this movement becomes really small. So we take our breath in, we breathe out, pull the stomach in, start rolling the peas to your belly button, count for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, breathe in, come back. for 6. So I want you to control that. We'll do that 3 more times. Breathe out. I want you to practice pulling the tummy deep and feeling the lengthening. The lower back is giving that length and that stretch, the same as we did when we were standing. Feel the relationship between the two. It's a little bit more of an awareness exercise than anything. And we'll do that just 1 more time. Breathe out, counting to 6. Breathe in, come home. Rest the arms down by the side. We go again, but we take it into a curl. So we breathe out, find the lower back, roll the piece to the belly button. Now don't push with your back muscles here. I want you to squeeze your butt cheeks. Can you start to peel your tailbone off? Remember we talked last week about that tail like a monkey? Start to curl it, but let's go super slow for the first one. Pushing with the feet into the mat, using only the hamstrings. Do not be tempted to use the back muscles to lift you up. Take your time. Find your hamstrings, find your glutes, stop at the top. Where is your scoop? Pull the stomach in, breathe out, and start to roll down through the back. We're just going to do 1 more nice and slow. Take your time. Keep activating the stomach and find your neutral. So if you need to put your hands on your pelvis to make sure you've come back to the right place, do that. 1 more this slow pace. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. The stomach pulls in. The lower back is already starting to open and stretch. The minute you let your stomach go, your lower back is going to stop stretching. Use the hamstrings, use the glutes, peel, take your time. We're going to stop at the top here. I want you to imagine for a second that I've grabbed you at the backs of your shins, and I'm going to pull your legs forward. So your 2 kneecaps are going to try to move forward in space over your big toes. So as you do that, that really wakes up my hamstrings. Feel the traction in the spine, the length, and hold that. Keep that as best as you can. Now you've got weight equal and 2 feet right here, yeah? I want the stomach still pulled in flat, deepen it if you've forgotten about it. You're going to start to transfer the weight out of your 2 feet and into your left foot only, but your hips are not going to go anywhere at all, they stay still. So I'm taking the pressure out of my right foot, my hips are not moving, I'm not dropping my bottom down, I'm going to lift my right foot off the floor. And I'm going to place it back down exactly where I picked it up from. So now I've gone back to 2 feet. Start to transfer all the weight, watch your legs don't drift, don't move your thighs. Really carefully, here's the right glute. Say hello to your right butt cheek, lift your left thigh. And back down. So absolute precision here. We're going to swap for 2 more each way. In your own time, transfer, abdominals, place it back down. As you're doing this, just do yourself a favor. What's your neck and shoulders doing? Can you keep them really soft? Can you transfer and actually lift that foot off without having any disturbance in the muscle tension and around your neck and around your upper traps? This is our last one. Transfer, don't shift. Load up the glute. Back down. So now come back to the middle. Check. Have you shifted? Have a look at your pelvis. Is it in the middle? Hopefully it is. And we're just going to slowly come back down really carefully. Hands go straight behind the head. Elbows forward. We're going to think about our chest lift now. Our sit-up action. So last time we've been talking about pulling the stomach in flat. Think about what happens to your lower back right now as you peel your head and shoulders off the floor. It's the same thing. So as you breathe out, you start to slide the ribs towards the pelvis. The lower back should by itself start to move towards the floor a little bit, because you're going to pull that stomach in so deep, your lower back is actually going to lengthen. And then watch as you come back down, control the belly. So just think about that for me and that connection, that relationship as you come up. Breathe out. Pull the tummy flat. Feel the muscles of the lower back getting closer towards your mat. Not deliberately pushing it in, but it just happens, right? Because the stomach is activating so well. And we'll do that 3 more times. So just in your own time, breathe out to come up. Don't rush through. I promise I'll be kind to you today. Place your head back down, 2 to go. Hopefully you can all feel that. If not, don't worry about it. It takes a lot of practice to be able to really find that body awareness. And so I don't know about you guys, but when I'm coming up, my stomach really shakes. If you're not really shaking or feeling deep heat inside, work on pulling in flatter. Activate those deep muscles a little bit more. They're harder to feel. We're going to stay up on the next one and go into the hula. That's the little twist that we do. So we hold our chest lift, we breathe out, we don't move our pelvis. So those P's are going to stay in the middle of your plate as you twist your ribs. Good, now watch out, I'm not down here. Come back to the middle, come back to your center. Check the height of your chest lift for me. Can you see if you can move your bottom ribs? Find your bottom ribs for me with your fingers for a second. Find them, like dig them in. Leave one hand behind your head and use your hand on the other ribs. Stay there, wherever you are, yet don't pull on your head. It's really tempting, I know. Can you keep your head still and can you move your ribs only down that way towards your pelvis? Slide them like baby oil. Slide them, slide them, slide them. So that sliding of the ribs makes your head lift a little higher, it makes your stomach shake like mad. Hold, that's your chest lift. Now you twist, you don't drop. So I'm rotating, I haven't got my left shoulder blade touching the mat anywhere. Come back to the middle. Oh, it's hard to talk and do this at the same time. Stay up, watch the height of your chest lift. Keep feeling those ribs, pull them to the pelvis. Come on, you should be working deep muscles and superficial ones. Twist, come up, move the ribs, pull, 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 1 more. Come back to the middle, and then we're gonna pull the stomach and gently come down. Just give your belly a little rest. I don't know about you, but I really feel that working. Reach the arms forward, use your arms to press, sit up tall into our rollbacks. Don't use your cushion today, if you can. Still want you to have your kneecaps pointing to the ceiling. Use your hands, and I want you to lift up through the spine. You should be aiming to have the same curve in your back that you had when you were standing. So watch out you're not crunching back here. And also watch out you're not like a soldier, like rigid. The lift is through the crown of the head. Beautiful. Now hold there. I want you to take the arms forward. I want your arms to feel as light as a feather. Can you stay there? Can you feel the pressure down through the feet? Can you feel the lift through the spine, but the softness in the arms and the shoulders? Now we're going to start to roll back. Do not use your arms at all. Tuck your head in. Here's our stomach. Here's our back stretching. You're going to go as far back as you don't feel your arms, shoulders, neck start to tense. You're going to find that challenge point. Where do you go to? How low can you go to without your shoulders squeezing? If they're squeezing, you're going too far. You might get your lower back to touch the mat. You might not. That's okay. You stay. Look into your belly for me. I want the head tucked in. Look in. Look down. Look in. Stay with the stomach. Pull it in deep. Come home. Stay in that round back. Stay there for me in that stretch. So C curve. Let's roll straight back. Soft arms floating. They're as light as a feather. The head is perfectly balanced on your neck and shoulders. There is no need for tension. Where can you go to? Can you go a little further? Hold, come forward. We're going to do 3 more. Stay in the round back, come straight back. You breathe out to go back. Push down through the feet. Round the spine. Bring it forward. This is your last one. No, I said 2 more, didn't I? 2 to go. Roll it back. Yep, tuck the head in. Good, let the upper traps go. Wherever you are right now, stop. Push your shoulders down. Activate your lats. Yeah, good job. Bring it forward. This is your last one. This time we are going to roll all the way back to the floor. So we're going to go slowly. Do not let gravity run away with you. Slowly. Place the next vertebrae. Place the next vertebrae. Your neck and shoulders are still not tense. Control them. Master them. Place your head down super slow. Oh, that's a challenge at the bottom. Well done. And then we're going to straighten our legs out. So We're just going to reach our legs as far away from your belly button as you can. 2 arms float to the ceiling. Now remember that V that we had at the start? Can you find that V right now? So I want you to turn your kneecaps out and push your 2 heel bones in, tight to each other. Feel that strong inside thigh connection. I've got my toes pointed because that's a habit, you don't have to. Arms reach up, shoulders pull back. We're going to breathe out, pull the stomach in, press the arms and hold. If your neck starts to scream, place one hand behind your head because we're going to breathe here. And I want you to just give me a breath or two to pull your belly in as deep as possible. And you're going to say to yourself, make your right leg lengthen away. It's going to reach out so far that it lifts up 2 centimeters off the floor. Just the right leg. Good. Are you at the tips of your shoulder blades or are you down here? Let's get you up. Come on, reach the fingers to your foot. Just breathe. Pull the tummy in deep. Lower the leg. Bring the head back down, but don't lose the inside thighs. We go to the other side. Reach the hands forward. Slide the ribs. Pull the stomach in. What's your lower back doing? Can you open it up a little bit more into your mat? Lengthen your left leg. It gets longer. The only reason it lifts is because there's nowhere out left to go. Hold the leg up, 2 breaths. Tummy pulls deeper. Open those lower backs. Lower the leg, come back down. We're going to keep the 2 feet onto the floor. Curl back up. You're going to say to yourself, the legs are going to reach away. You're not going to lift them off, but I want you to imagine they are about to. We pump the arms. You breathe in for 5 pumps. Breathe out, squeeze and bring out the lungs. Breathe in for 5. Breathe out for 5. What are your legs doing? They should be on. Breathe in for 5. Breathe out for 5. If your neck screams, you can do this with your head down, but if you can stay up, keep going. Breathe out. 2 more sets. Vigorous with the arms. Deep with the stomach. Hold, don't splat, don't splat, don't splat. Control the stomach, back down we go. Bend your right knee. Roll yourself up to sit to face me for a side reach. Sit on your cushions if you feel like you need to. We're here. We're going to tip our right hand to the mat. Let's stretch. And as we go over the top, think about pushing your left sit bone strongly into the floor. How far over can you go? Stay there. Just breathe into that opposite rib. 2 deep breaths. Float the arm back. It's as light as a feather. Pull the stomach in, lift tall. You don't use your arms. Other side. Anchor your right sit bone into the mat. Breathe. 1 more breath. Then we're going to take the arm back. They float, come back up. We'll go a little pace. Up and over. Bring it back. Up and over. Bring it back. Remember, don't push with your arms. You pull from the waist muscles. 1 more. Bring it back. Well done. Press your legs back into the floor. We're going to roll all the way back, and I'm going to teach you a single leg stretch today. So down to the floor. Can you find your neutral pelvis for me, just to remind yourself for a second? So the plate of peas, the bunch of peas in the middle of your plate. Float your right leg up to coffee table. Keep your hands on your pelvic bones. Can you bring up the second leg? Now, if this is too tricky, because normally what wants to happen here is you can feel the back arch and the peas are going to roll over the top of your pubic bone to the floor in front of you. So be careful, take your time. It's transferring the energy out of the foot and into the deep abdominals so that the back doesn't move at all. Do the best you can. That takes a lot of work to practice that. Grab the backs of the thighs and curl your head and shoulders up. So I want you to stay here for a minute. I actually want you to use your arms. You're held up by your arms for a moment. So I want you to curl yourself up a little bit higher, and then I want you to just stay there and breathe and see how flat you can pull in your belly. So look down into your belly button. Can you spend 2 breaths here? Breathing out and deepening and really finding that deep connection into your transversus abdominis. Yes, now we're going to slowly start to take the energy out of the arms and load up the stomach only. So slowly start to kind of release the pressure with the hands, and they're going to come around to the front of the thighs. Your belly should not have popped up at all. My lower back is nice and open into the floor. I'm going to press my left leg forward and I'm going to pull my right knee in towards my face. I'm really folding. Use your arms and pull that knee towards you. If you tighten the hips, enjoy this moment. Stay here, look at your belly. What's it doing? Can it go in a bit more? Then you come back to two legs tabletop. Left knee comes in. Use your arms, pull it in. Deepen the stomach, two legs back to tabletop. So we're just going to keep swapping. My inner eye is on what does my tummy feel like? Is it deep? What do my neck and shoulders feel like? Are they soft? Are they overworking? So sometimes you have to kind of wriggle out and just kind of press your shoulders down. We're going to keep going. Have a rest if you need to. You know you can keep doing this with your head onto the floor. It still works your deep abs. Or you can come up and work the whole shebang. We're going to swap 3 more each side. Swap 1. And a little quicker, we change. 2 sets. Don't be tempted to have the leg too low. The minute the leg's too low, you tend to hang off your lower back muscles. Lift it a little higher. Yes, it is a little bit more work, but it's more precise. 1 more each leg. Good job. Bend the knees right into your chest. Rest your head. Just roll your head side to side for a second. And from here, we're going to come back up. Curl the head and shoulders up. We stay up. Again, if your neck screams, place your hands behind your head. We're going to press the legs up to a really high diagonal and the arms go straight forward. We press, pull the stomach in, curl the knees, don't drop the head. The head stays up if you can. Look towards your belly button. And again, press, pull the stomach in deep, deep, deep. Squeeze the legs together, pull it back in. As you come up, do me a favor and find your V. Push your heels in. Little slice of pizza through your feet. Come back in. Last one. Press it up. Find your little V. Squeeze and wrap the bottom. We don't like a soggy booty. Come back in. Well done. Roll your head. Not too tough, right? You made it. Curling up. We're going to go on to our side. I'm going to face you guys. So hips are nice and stacked. Remember, we use the back of our mat to line ourselves up with. So hand right by our ear and palm underneath palm facing the ceiling. Can you lift the top arm? Beautiful. Can you find your house for the mouse? Remember, we talked about that little space for the mouse to run underneath. Check it's there. Lift the arm, and we're going to go straight into double leg lifts. But let's do it, theme of the night, with the feet in a little V. So before you go anywhere, let's turn our 2 thigh bones out slightly. Can you feel your butt cheeks straight away activating? Hopefully you can. Can you push your 2 heel bones into each other so the underneath inside thigh is doing a little bit more work? From here, keep the legs pressing in together and lift the legs off. Now I'm not going to lift them that high because I really want to feel stability. My back doesn't wobble. And then just really lightly touch the mat. Don't rest at the bottom, just super light. Breathe out, activate transversus. Pull up by zipping, lift and float the legs. They feel as light as a feather. We'll just do 4 more. And exhale, spiral the knees out, not easy. Push the heel bones in together. I think that was 3. 3 to go. Use your breath. And 2. So squeeze the juice out of every single exercise, guys. We don't have a lot of time together, so we really got to make the most of it. Last one. Squeeze the bottom, squeeze the inside thighs, zip it up. The neck feels super soft. Lower the legs back down. Now bring your feet forward a little bit for me. You're going to bend your top leg. We're going to stretch your inside thigh. Can you grab the heel? So kind of wrap your foot around. And you're going to try to stretch that leg right up. Do your best. If you can't, just grab the calf and pull that leg towards you. Stay there. Imagine that foot is going to come behind the back of your head. Use your arm to stretch the inside thigh. Go on. Yep, you can do it. Come on. That's it. One more breath. Let that leg go. So this time we're going to lift the leg all the way up, as high as you can. Take the feet, keep them slightly forward. We're still in our V. We're here. You can come up on the elbow actually. Let's come up on the elbow. Let's do it here. Cool. So same thing, I want you to think about reaching that top leg long. The only reason it lifts is because it's nowhere else to go. Lift it right up. Imagine that foot's going behind your ear. Lift, 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 lift. Go on, push it back down. We don't work our hip muscles enough. We do that 6 times. Lengthen it out. Lift it up, 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 up. Back down. Yeah, well done. Just do the best you can. Come on, lift it and press. Let's not make it too slow because it feels really heavy to get that leg up right if it's mega slow. And I think we're on one more. Lift it up and press it back down. Awesome. Push yourself up. We do a little can-can. Swip the legs around. Make it look pretty. And back down. Straight into that double leg lift position. Get your legs turned out. Top thigh needs to spiral as much as the underneath one. Here we go. Push the heel bones into each other. Lift the legs just a little bit. Doesn't need to be big. Work the deep hip. Lightly touch the mat. Scoot the stomach. So we're going to do 6. I'll try and stay quiet for a few reps, just so you can feel that. 3 to go. How do the top shoulders feel? Just check in. How do the inside heels feel? Are they touching still? Sometimes I like to imagine I've got $100 between my heels. No, don't let anyone steal your $100. Do more. $100 isn't that exciting these days though, is it? And lower back down. Last one. Awesome. Come up on the elbow if you want to. Bring the feet forward, ready for our stretch. Take that foot, use your arm. Just go to where you can. I know we don't stretch our hips nearly enough. So if you're tight, there's a little bit of homework for you. And pull that leg back. I know it feels like torture, but how good does that feel at the same time? One more breath. Come on, you can do it. Oh, so good. And then lower that leg back down. Here we go. So the legs are turned out. We're lengthening. Lift it up. Press it down. 1. I want you to go for the length. Not the height. The length, the height's going to come, but you go for the length. And 3. And push the heels together at the bottom. And 4. And 5. And lucky last 6. Push down, beautiful. Let's flip straight onto belly. If anyone wants to put the cushion between the inside thighs here, if you feel like you need it, go for it. I'm not going to bother. But we're just going to rest our forehead on our hands for a moment. And so I want you to think about the shape through your lower back right now. So maybe just put your hand onto that curve again. And it should feel the same sort of degree of curve that you had when you were standing. So just be careful here that you haven't kind of let the pubic bone come off the floor, because that causes a bit of an excessive curve in the lower back. So let's just go 2 hands on the forehead and think about pushing your pubic bone into the mat and what that does to the lower back. It lengthens it away. What that makes you do through the glutes, they should be wrapping. And what's happening to the lower abs. I want you to feel like your lower abs are literally going to lift right up off the floor. And we're going to take our arms straight to letter T, crucifix. I'm going to come out a little bit so I'm touching the wall. The quad stays soft. So if you're dominant through your quads, you're going to try to not let them overwork here. Feel like the quads are like jelly. The strength is in the back of the legs. The crown of the head reaches forwards. The legs reach back and we hover. So I'm going for length. I want the top of my head to reach as far away from my toes as I can, and I'm just going to stay. I'm not high, I'm long. Lift those bellies up off the floor and stay and come down, have a mini break. Control, don't splat. You can turn your head to the side if you need to. Crown of the head reaches forward, pubic bones pushes into the floor, lengthen, lift the thighs, lift the breastbone, stay, pick up the stomach, come back down. We're going to do that one more time, but I want you to stay this time. So come back up. How long can you be? As we're holding, we're going to push our shoulders down, and then the two arms are going to reach forward, straight forward. If you're right up here by the ears with the shoulders, don't go all the way forward, go to like a Y shape. Stay there. You're going to lift your right arm and your left leg a little bit higher. Don't dump into the lower back, pick up the stomachs, lower down to the hover. This is too tough, by the way. You can put your hands and your legs on the floor. You can do it from here. But I'm going to go from here. If you can come with me, go for it. If it hurts, stop. Opposite arm and opposite leg, lift them. Pick up the stomach. This is slow. It's tough. Opposite arm, right arm, left leg. That leg gets longer. I don't want to see any bent knees. Stretch your leg. Longer, 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 longer. It's the length, not the height. Last one. Length, length, length. Well done. Sit back on the heels. Round your backs. Just a moment. Flip onto bottom. Nearly done with you. Sit up tall. How are we going? Hanging in there. Ready for one more exercise? Woohoo! Cool. So from this time, this position here today, I want you to lift your right leg. Keep it bent. Yeah, my leg's shaking. Squeeze your inside thighs really tight together. If you can straighten the knee, go for it. But I want you to be lifted up through the back. Stay there, take the hands away. We're going to roll back, pull into the stomach. We've done this plenty times now. Take your time, control all the way to the floor. Your head goes down last. Your shoulders are soft. Your arms are as light as a feather. Arms reach forward. Breathe out here. Pull the stomach in. The lower back opens to the floor. Use the hands if you get stuck. Come back up. Lift tall. Are we here? Lift the leg up. Don't put your foot on the floor. Let's go. One more. Round your spine. Control, control, control. Reach the arms. Curl it up. We're only doing two each side. Swap legs. Here we go. Roll it back. Use your arms. Don't use momentum. That will never get you up. Well, it will, but that's cheating. If you're getting stuck here, now I know this is like a sticky part, right? You want to go and just use momentum. Don't give in. Put your hands on the backs of your thighs. Yes, that was beautiful. So smooth. Well done. Last one. Breathe in at the bottom. Breathe out. Reach. Curl. Curl. Lift it up. Finish it off. You know what we do to finish it off. Lift your two legs. Who's still with me? Beautiful. Can you extend the knees? Your arms are kind of mimicking the shape of your legs. I know it's torture, right? But you're done. Well done. So we're going to come to a little crouch. Let's finish it off standing today. I'll do side on so you can see me. We're going to have your feet in a V. Hang forward over your legs. Just stay. Push the heel bones into each other. Now, I've got a real good view of myself, and I always cheat when I do this. So I want you to check. Can you see how like I'm sitting back? My butt's like way behind my heels. Shouldn't be there. So I'm going to start shifting my weight forward, over my toes. And to stop me falling on my face, I have to engage the back of my leg. I don't know if you guys can feel that. Bend your knees if you need to. It's absolutely fine. Start to curl the tailbone under, and your hands will leave the floor if they're there, coming up slowly. Here's the lower back. Really slowly, because the head wants to be the very last thing to come up. I'll face you. We're going to stay here. You can put your hands on your hips. Check their level and transfer your weights down on one foot only. Pick the other foot up off the floor. We're going to stay here for a moment. See if you can control your ankle. If you're there, can you close your eyes? That's my cue to swap when I fall over. Lift the foot up. Find your balance, no wobblies. Close your eyes. Breathe. Place the foot down, beautiful, shake it out. Twist. Swing your arms, let it go after all that precision. And we are done. Well done, guys. Good job.